Reading chord charts can make learning a song a lot simpler and can make playing a song something you can do your way. So here's some things you need to know in order to read a chord chart. So the first thing is a chart won't tell you everything you need to know to play the song. It's kind of like a guideline. Usually a chord chart, or sometimes it's called a lead sheet, will just have the melody line in the right hand notated along with chord symbols underneath. So you sort of get everything you need to play the song, but it's up to you to assemble it the way you see fit. So that brings us to the next thing that you're going to need to know is you're going to need to know what those chord symbols are, because there's a ton to look at. We're just going to take a look at some of the most common ones for this lesson. So the first one that we're going to look at is the major 7. So here's our major 7 chord. I'm just playing this in the key of G, G major 7. And if you were to see that on a chord chart, it would say G with a capital M-A-J 7. So that means G major 7. So you got your G triad with your major 7 on top. Now, sometimes if you're reading a jazz chart or something, they might have a G with a triangle beside it. So that's just another way to write major 7. Don't know why they use the triangle, but it looks pretty cool. That's exactly the chord that you're going to play when you see that symbol. The next chord that we're going to look at is the G minor 7. So here's my G minor 7 on the piano, and if you were to see it written in a chart, you would see G, M-I-N, so mine, 7. So G min 7. Sometimes you might just see a lowercase m beside the G, so G M 7. But that's all the same. It all means play this chord here. And then the other type of 7th that you'll see commonly written in a chart is the dominant 7. So this is the dominant 7 right here. It's got a G triad with the flat 7 up top. Now this is going to be written usually as just G7. So whenever you see G7, it just means play the dominant 7th chord. So those are the 3 types of 7th chords that are going to be most common when you're reading a chart. Let's take a look at some of the other types of chords you're going to find. So what about this one? That's a very pretty chord. It's a G sus4 chord, a G suspended 4th, because it wants to land down on your major triad. And if you were to see that written in a chart, you would see G sus 4, because it means a suspended 4th. Now there's some weird chords that we could look at too, like augmented chords. Augmented chords, here's an augmented chord. They call it augmented because you're stacking major thirds on top of each other. So there's a major third, there's a major third. When you put it all together, it sounds just like that. So this would be written G with a plus sign. So G augmented. And then the other type of chord that we're going to look at, kind of the weird other brother of the augmented chord, is the diminished chord. And that's made by stacking 2 minor thirds together. So a G minor third, and then that's a B flat minor third. So that's called a diminished chord, and it's just going to be written G dim. So D-I-M, G dim. Okay, so that is just the very start of reading a chord chart. I honestly think reading a chord chart is so much more useful and versatile than reading classical notation, but that's just me. Tell me how you feel about chord charts versus classical notation in the comments below. And if you got any more questions about some other weird chord symbols, you can send me an email at jordan@pianout. If not, have yourself a great day and check out some more of our lessons. We'll see you around.